So Miss Erin, if you want to come up and introduce the family circle concept, I'd love that.
We were getting together as a leadership team and kind of dreaming big about Okids. One thing that kept resurfacing was we have all these amazing teachers, but we're on 1 month and then we're off for 2. Can you guys all hear me? No. You can't hear me?
That's not mine.
Oh, it's not. I just have to project. Okay. No, that's okay. I can try to project. It's been a while since I've been in the classroom. But one thing we were discussing was just how our kids are seeing multiple teachers throughout the year and that we have new kids coming all the time. We have some kids that come once or twice a month. So it was really the consistency aspect that we were thinking might help a lot of our kids feel comforted and feel like they have some familiarity. So the idea we are implementing this year is something we're calling the family circle. And there's a handout. I don't know if it's on the table. Is it up there? Oh, it is up there. So the purpose of this, we're calling it Family Circle, but this is adapted from responsive classroom techniques, and it's an engaging way to start each morning. I'm just going to read it and then we'll talk about it more. To build a strong sense of an inclusive community. That word inclusive is big because when you are gathering together in a circle as a community, the whole idea is we want every single child that walks in to feel like they're part of it. We don't want them to feel like, well, I've never been before or I don't have any friends here. So we're trying to really build that from the 2-year-old all the way up. Encourage deeper relationships with their peers, which we hope will have them, want to come back, right? If they're building these relationships with each other, that's what makes a lot of people want to keep going back to something. They like the people that are there. And so that's another purpose behind this. And to establish a routine that our kids can rely upon. The routine part we feel is important because think about if you were to show up, and we realize this, our kids are showing up, on a Sunday, maybe once a week, hopefully once a week. But a lot of times they don't really, it might be a new teacher, there might be new kids. And so we just thought, let's have an established routine where no matter who the teacher is, no matter who the kids are, they can predict, oh, we're gonna sit in a family circle and this is what's gonna happen. And that kind of just makes the anxiety go down for them, which hopefully allows them to learn more and enjoy more and get more out of what they're hearing that day. So that's the whole purpose of it. And we're gonna actually do it. We're gonna actually model for you what this looks like so that you can bring it to your classrooms. So if I can have my chosen volunteers come up. All right, so we're going to, when your kids walk in, usually I've been working in the 4-5, so they'll just play for a little bit until we kind of transition to the next. But we realize, sometimes I forget to even introduce myself as the teacher and say, I'm Erin, and have them meet each other. So we're gonna try to start out every morning in a circle, and the circle part's big. If you're sitting in rows like this isn't very inclusive, right? So we're gonna actually have our kids, and we understand 2-year-olds are a whole thing all their own, so you guys adapt this to whatever you need. So we're gonna sit, or we can sit on stools if we have them. Do we have enough stools? Do you guys mind sitting on the ground? No. Okay, we're gonna sit on the ground, because this is what we would do with our kids. So we'd be sitting on the ground in a circle, and I think this is all up there. Let me actually move it down. Hold on a minute. So there's 2 parts to it. It's greetings and kind of announcements. So the greetings part is so that every child feels like they were welcomed that day by somebody. And so when you walk into a classroom and you don't know anybody, this is like an instant way for them to feel connected. Okay, so there's a lot. When you guys leave here, you'll walk away with a list of different greetings. We're gonna do one. Cozy has a lot of yarn and they're very big. This is called the spider web greeting, and you can make it as simple or complicated as you want. But this is a fun one. So I would start with it, and I would say, and you want to try to model for them how to greet each other. Like these are skills that people don't just come into the world knowing. So I would say, I'm Erin, or however you want to introduce yourself. And you might give them a prompt like, okay, everybody say their name, and for the little ones, it might be simple, like your favorite color. For the older ones, it might be say your name and something that you're looking forward to doing this weekend. Okay, so I'm gonna say, I'm Erin, and tonight I hope to sleep really well. And then they would roll it. You wanna emphasize, you wanna set this up ahead of time, do not chuck it. So you're gonna roll it to the next person. Okay, and then I would say, good morning. And if I don't know her name, that's okay, but I'd say, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so happy to see you here, or whatever it might be. And then she would.
I'd say good morning.
You'd say, good morning, I'm
Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
And what am I supposed to say about tonight?
And something that you are looking forward to doing tonight.
Oh, I'm looking forward to watching a show.
Okay, so then she's gonna hold a piece of the yarn,
Okay.
and she's gonna pass it to the next, or roll it to whoever. It could be across the circle, it could be next to you. Okay, and then you're gonna say, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your kids will feel just as awkward at first. I'll tell you that
I'm Brian.
much. Good morning, Brian.
And one thing I'm looking forward to is eating leftover pizza.
It's gonna be a lot of it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So at this point, you could, depending on the age of your students, if you're working with grade schoolers, you can easily prompt them to go, everybody say good morning so-and-so, or say something like, we're so happy you could make it to church today. So you could start small, and as this becomes a routine that you do every Sunday, you'll see it starts becoming this time together that actually kind of takes on a life of its own. Okay, so then you would roll it to the next person.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so happy you're here.
My name's Amber, and I'm looking forward to reading my book tonight.
Okay, and that's when a lot of kids will go, what book are you reading? I'm reading too. And so then, it starts a little conversation. So if we had a bigger group, this is called a spider web because it would kind of be interconnected. And if you wanted, you could say something meaningful like, okay, everybody hold up their piece of yarn, and it would kind of be crossing over. And you can say something like, this morning we all walked in, and we all have different stories, or we all came in maybe feeling excited or maybe not feeling excited, but we're all here together right now. Or you can make it, you can say whatever you want about it. So that's one example of a greeting. On here, it gives you very simple ones, the handshake. You realize these kids, giving a handshake, a solid handshake, is another skill that kids, they need to be specifically taught. So for a lot of kids like this, I sometimes would model for my students, if I go like this, good morning, does that really make Amber feel welcome? So I would model for them, no, I'm gonna turn my body and I'm gonna look her in the eye, good morning, Amber. I'm so happy to see you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then she would take it around.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning. I'm happy to see you too.
Now, another idea, this is a good one for flu season. Teachers use this one a lot for flu season. The elbow, the elbow greeting, so you're not really shaking hands. There's fun ones like tap your shoe. We didn't specify on here exactly what to say because you all work with such different ages of students. But if I were working, I'd say in the 4-5s, I could say something like, when you turn to that person, say, good morning, may God be with you today. Or you can use it as a time to teach them the memory verse. So that's part one, the greeting part. And then, I'm looking at these and I'm thinking there's a couple that I should do. The mask greeting, this one's really fun around Halloween. I used to call it Halloween greeting, but some kids don't celebrate Halloween, so we have to be, So you have you choose one child and they get to make up like a silly mask that they do, and then it gets passed around the circle, and they just love it. Like kids, they really love this. It's so much fun for them. I'm telling you, I'm even having fun up here. So there's a lot of fun ways to use this. So what we're doing is they're learning each other's names, and they're feeling greeted by each other in hopes that they're starting to form these relationships with each other and hopefully starting to feel more comfortable about coming to Okids every day or every Sunday if their parents will bring them. So then the other part, am I missing anything, Cozy?
No.
The other part here, got the butterfly greeting. Oh, here. So this last one, introductions, interests, and favorites. This is a good one for just once you initially teach them this routine, you can start expanding it so they get to know more about each other and not just my name is. So you can start expanding it. My name is blank, and today I hope to. My name is blank, and I love playing blank. So you can really choose whatever based on your children that you're working with, you can change the way that they greet each other. So then the next part, and I will say you don't have to start with greeting, you could start with this next part, which is, hold on, announcements and reminders. This one, I guess I can stand up now. You guys are done. Yes, thank you. Thank you for your volunteer efforts. This next one is because sometimes we forget that our regular routines, like how to use the bathroom and even who we are and what we're doing today, we sometimes forget to do. And a lot of the kids we've learned, when they enter the kindergarten group, they're like, are we allowed to use the bathroom? Like they don't even know that. So we thought this would be also a good time while they're sitting in the circle. You could make sure you introduce yourself and then just go over a few of your expectations. Like if you need to use the bathroom, this is what you do. And when I need to get your attention getter is big, right? For the management part of trying to make sure all of your kids know to respond to you. So it might be your time when you introduce I call it an attention getter. Like when I need to, for the little ones, it's usually when I need to get your attention, I'm gonna say, if you can hear me, put your finger on your head. If you can hear me, put your finger on your nose. For the older ones, you might do your little clap rhythm or 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and then they respond, 1, 2, eyes on you. I should have put all that up there also, but okay. So it's just a time to make sure that they are familiar with what's going to happen, and with the whole intention that they feel it lowers the affective filter, when they're just like, some kids come in and they do get nervous, and so we're hoping that this will help with that. We also put in here that if you, like in the little ones, we always have a memory verse that we're working on. This would be a great time for them to practice the memory verse, for you to introduce it to them, for you to ask how it relates to their life. For the older ones, it's a time to have that conversation. And my husband Ty worked with the 6th graders last year, and he said he was just getting to know these kids, and for the first times he would show up and then they would just dive right into the curriculum. And he said it just felt like, it wasn't going that well. And then finally him and Austin, I think was his teaching partner, they're like, you know what? Let's just sit down with the kids first. Let's just sit down and get to know them. And you forget that these aren't just little robots that we're working with, they're little people. And so he said once they sat down and they started actually talking about things is when their group really started to flourish, and he felt like they got more out of the message that was happening with Cozy.